Welcome to the new video, guys. I'm going to be doing an overview for you of my 2TB Batocera Ultra build for the Raspberry Pi 4, 4B, and 400. This is my largest Raspberry Pi build. Put a lot of time into it. Took about 2 months to get it all together. It's 2 terabytes. It's one of the largest builds you'll find for a Raspberry Pi. I use SSDs for any of my builds from 1 terabyte to 2 terabyte. I find SSDs are much more stable, reliable, and just function better. They have a faster load time, and they're just great. So, I'm used name brand, Western Digital, or Crucial. Those are my two brands that I use. If there's a brand that you prefer, you can let me know, and I will look into it. But let's get into the overview. So we'll start out here. Let's move here. We got Amstrad, all the best games with Amstrad, all the best games for Apple II. This particular build will have something for everyone. Basically, the best of what the Raspberry Pi 4 or 400 can play. So if it's something the Pi can play, I will put it on this build, and it is here. So we've got 17 Daphne titles. All everybody's favorites: Cliffhanger, Cobra Command, Dragon's Lair 1 and 2, Interstellar, Mach 3, Road Blaster, Super Don Quixote, Thayer's Quest, Us and Them. This is one that a lot of people ask about, so I have just about all the Daphne games that are available. With MAME, we have the complete MAME 2003 Plus ROM set minus duplicates and minus Asian card games, which comes to about nearly 2,500 titles. I've also included some specials that aren't in MAME 2003, like Street Fighter 3 New Generation, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact and Third Strike, and some other specials, some nice hacks, some mods. It's a great collection. Pretty much anything that you're going to want to play or remember will be on here. One thing I want to note, on my large builds, basically from 128 gigabyte all the way up to my 8 terabyte for the PC, I include full box art and previews for all the games that have it available. So if the artwork and the videos are available, I put it on the build. Alright, so that's MAME. Just great games. If you're using this on an arcade system, which I highly recommend, it is a fantastic build for your arcade. Trackball is plug and play, already set up. I'll mention in a minute why I have one of my special collections folders is the trackball game. Some people ask about that. This also has all the Golden Tee titles that the Raspberry Pi 4 and 400 can play. There's about 8 of them. But let's move on now. We've got the full Atari 2600, a large collection of Atari 800, Atari 5200 full catalog, nice collection of Atari ST, Atari 7800 full catalog, Lynx, WonderSwan Color, ColecoVision, of course. The best games on Amiga. This plays great on the Pi. The built-in emulator for Amiga is really clean and works very well. Basically every Commodore 64 game ever made. 119 Scum VM games. If you really enjoy the point-and-click adventures that we played in the 80s and 90s, basically anything you can think of is here. All the Monkey Island games, Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, Discworld, Echo Quest, Elvira, Eye of the Beholder, Freddy Fish, Gabriel Knight games, the Indiana Jones point-and-click games, all the Lucasfilm ones, especially Full Throttle, which is one of my favorites, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Space Quest, Police Quest, you name it, it is here. So if you really like the point-and-click games, this is a great build to go with for that. Complete Magnavox Odyssey, complete Intellivision, complete Vectrex. Actually, I added some Vectrex. There's some prototypes in here that weren't originally released for the Vectrex. So if you love Vectrex, this is great for that. Nice collection of MSX 1 and 2 games. Almost 700 MS-DOS games. Lots of favorites on here. Great collection. All the D&D games. There's just so much on here. You could spend days just going through all this. The Alone in the Dark series. Ancient Art of War. Let's check here. Bard's Tale 1, 2, and 3. Battle Chess. If you remember it on the MS-DOS, it's probably here. Some of the first-person shooters like Blake Stone, Duke Nukem, Doom 1 and 2, Carmageddon, and so on. It's great for people who are into PC games. TurboGrafx 16. We got TurboGrafx CD, Super Graphics. For the NES section, it is a complete US catalog. Plus, I also include a nice large selection of the translated games. There's a huge amount of them here. Plus a large collection of NES hacks. There's 649 hacks. So if you're looking for hacks for the NES, they're very likely in here. It's a very large, stable collection. One thing to note, I do not scrape for these hacks because when a person goes and say looks up Mario, you'll have like 200 Mario hacks. So I prefer to keep them unscraped so that you have them on the build to play, but they won't mess up or untidy your game collection folders. So if you want to play hacks, you just go into the NES section and go into the NES hacks folder. And then a nice collection of Famicom, 375. But all in total, that gives you over 2,000 NES games. A nice collection of Famicom Disk System, the complete Game Boy set. With Super Nintendo, it's once again, you're going to get the entire US catalog of Super Nintendo. Plus, you're going to get 145 translated titles, a really nice collection of Super Famicom Disk System, and then 109 Super NES hacks. Once again, just a lot of really good stuff in here. I've had quite a few people make special requests, and when I fulfill those requests, I usually then just add it to the build to continue with increasing the amount that you get. So you get over 1,200 Super NES, the complete Virtual Boy, almost 500 Nintendo 64, including the NFL Blitz mods, the NFL Blitz hacks, and a really great hack of Mario Kart that everybody really likes. Let me go here and check it out. It's Mario Kart 64 Amped Up. It has new tracks and a bunch of new stuff added to it. So if you get the build, definitely check out Amped Up Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart section has just got everything that you can think of that was great on the N64 is going to be in here. Here's all the NFL Blitz mods, for 2020, 2021, and through 2023. And that means the guys who've done these taken a lot of time to go in and actually update with the latest rosters and stats for these various teams up to 2023. So that's why I include all the latest ones on here from 2020 to 2023. Got a lot of Blitz fans out there. All right. Game Boy Color. This actually does have some Game Boy Color hacks, mainly Pokemon, but you got the whole Game Boy Color collection. Game Boy Advance also has hacks, GBA hacks in here, a nice selection of them, and then the Game Boy Advance section, we got 1,121 for that. For DS, we got 252 DS titles. All your favorite DS titles are here. It took a lot of time to go through and find these. One thing to note, in my builds, I focus on US and English release titles. I have had some people, people buying from Asia and Europe, and I do also have, if there is a good stable title that has multiple languages, like the multiple worldwide releases, I will include those in here. So there are a lot, but this is geared, towards English. You're not going to go through and find a huge amount of ROMs from, with other countries and other languages. I try to go through and weed as much of that out. The same thing if you notice with the MAME section, you're not going to find anything in there that doesn't have English on there. So try to make sure that we got it all set up for everybody. 3DO, 199 games. 3DO is very popular. I personally didn't have one, but I do appreciate it. It's a pretty cool system. I include all the best 3DO games. When you're looking at about, almost 200, all the best ones are going to be on here, especially, the focus on the Lightgun games like Mad Dog McCree and, let's see, Crime Wave, and, Demolition Man, Drug Wars, Corpse Killer, Crime Patrol, and so on. So, you're going to have all the Lightgun titles that you remember here. One thing while we're on the Lightguns, I just want to mention, too, that Batocera is plug and play with light guns, with all major light guns. So that's Sinden, Aimtrak, Gun for IR, and with a few settings, and Wiimotes work great, both with a dolphin bar or with just a generic light bar. They will connect through Bluetooth, so Batocera is set up for that. I go in and actually set up, do a lot of extra two-player settings for individual light gun games to make sure that two-player mode is set up for everything. So if you've got, as close to everything as I can make it. So if you've got an Aimtrak or a Sinden or a Gun for IR, you're not going to have to mess with settings. You just plug it in and you can play. That's the important thing with the light guns, and that's what makes Batocera, or one thing that makes it so great, is that it is actually plug and play with light guns. You're going to get the best performance with Sindens and Gun for IRs, and Wiimotes for that matter. There are some games that aren't compatible with Aimtrak, but even with Aimtrak, you're going to find that the larger majority of titles are playable. I just wanted to go over that real quick. All right. 223 OpenBor games. A lot of my arcade customers love OpenBor, and there are some great OpenBor titles. So I have included over 200 of them. Let me just turn the music down a little bit here. All right. So yeah, a lot of great OpenBor games. The Double Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons, Final Fight, Fatal Fury, Golden Axe, just great OpenBor titles that I've had lots of people who are really into OpenBor, so I try to give you guys all the best. In ports, I do have Cannonball, Doom, and Super Mario War. As most of you know, Cannonball is the mod to Outrun, and it's a lot of fun, and it is on here. Alright, so we got Atomic Wave. Atomic Wave and Naomi were built on Dreamcast hardware, so they all use the same emulator. So you got the complete Atomic Wave collection, except for one game, which is Extreme Hunting 2, because it currently is not compatible with the Pi, but you got all the others. Big one that everybody loves, Dolphin Blue. It plays great. All right, Sega SG-1000, Master System, and we got Genesis. Now Genesis, I have 1198 Genesis games, so that includes the complete US catalog, plus 200 hacks, plus you got Mega Drive Japan, 191, and 24 translations. So you got a great collection if you love Genesis or Mega Drive. It's here. I've got the Akira prototype. I've had a lot of people ask for Genesis hacks, so I've gone and found a lot of the favorite Genesis hacks out there, including NHL 94, the 2022 and 2023 patched hacks, which are on here, and I've had a lot of people requesting those. A lot of sports games fans, so I try to make sure and take care of everybody with these builds. Game Gear, you got 102 Sega CD, You know, some people don't like Sega CD, but there are some actually really good games in it. And I like to make sure and include the top rated games from every system that I can fit, with a focus on making sure that the games all are stable, tested, and optimized. So, you know, that's a big important factor in my builds. 32X, and we got Dreamcast, big Dreamcast section. The Dreamcast is basically, you know, on the Raspberry Pi 4 and 400, the two systems that look the very best are Dreamcast and PSP. So I give you big Dreamcast and PSP sections. You got pretty much any Dreamcast game you can think of is here for you. You know, 18-wheeler, you know, Arrow Wings, you know, Aqua GT, people love that. You know, Army Men, Bang-I-O, the fishing games. You know, got a Beats of Rage hack mod. I've included some hacks in here too. You name it, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Capcom versus SNK. You know, I'll just kind of go, obviously, Confidential Mission. You know, the Lightgun games are all going to be here. Death Crimson OX, Crazy Taxi, Crazy Taxi 2, Crazy Taxi New Mix. You know, it's here. Okay, I made sure and found, you know, all the great U.S. releases and Japanese releases that, you know, we didn't get in the U.S. You know, so you got like Dynamite Cop, that's a great one. ECW games, you know, F1, you know, just pretty much anything you can think of on the Dreamcast. Even silly games like Fur Fighters are here. You know, just kind of scroll through some, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be interested in the Dreamcast section, so I'll just kind of scroll through. You know, Ikaruga is a great game. Jet Grind Radio, really great game. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kiss Psycho Circus. They made if you don't know this, they actually made a Kiss-based game in 2000, and it was a first-person shooter. And Kiss actually made it. It was the song called Psycho Circus. They actually performed it in 2000. You know, Legacy of Kain, Macross, Magic the Gathering, Mars Matrix, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, obviously, definitely, always got those. Mortal Kombat Gold, you know, NBA 2K, 2K1, 2K2, Hoops, NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC, great game, fantastic port on the Dreamcast. You know, the Pi can't quite handle the NBA Showtime on MAME, but you know, the Dreamcast version is a great one to go for if you want to play that game. They did a really good job in porting it. You know, you got Blitz, obviously, 2000, 2001, Quarterback Club, NHL, Omicron, No Bad Soul. You know, look at the picture there. That's David Bowie there. And so he actually contributed to this game. It's a pretty cool third person. You know, it's a very odd storyline, but it's a lot of fun. I've actually played it, and you got to give this one a try. Check it out. You know, Phantasy Star, Plasma Sword, Power Stone 1 and 2, great games, great beat 'em ups. You know, Project Justice, you know, Psychic Force, Quake 3 Arena, Rayman 2, Ready to Rumble 1 and 2, great boxing games. Resident Evil 2 and 3 and Code Veronica. A lot of collections don't include the Resident Evil games because they'll include the PS1 versions, but I like to make sure and give you everything because some ports and other systems look better, and so got those ones here. Sam and Max Hit the Road, San Francisco Rush. I even have Seaman, the crazy game for the Dreamcast. Included a microphone and had a fish friend that would talk to you and evolve. Very odd, but definitely worth taking a look at. Sega GT, Sega Rally 2, beautiful game on the Dreamcast. Looks really great. Shadow Man, both Shenmue 1 and 2, multi-disc sets. Silver Scope, Sky Arcadia. Soldier Fortune, I played this on the PC, both the first one and the second one. Both were great games. It's a lot of fun. One of the earliest games I played that had positional damage. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Soul Fighter, Soul Calibur. Okay. Soul Calibur. You know, Spec Ops 2, Spider-Man, Star Wars Demolition, Episode 1 Racer, Jedi Power Battles, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and Double Impact. So you actually have the main version and you have the Dreamcast version. So we'll continue through here. Techromancer, House of the Dead 2. You're going to have two versions of House of the Dead 2. You've got the Dreamcast version and you got the Naomi version. So those are both on here. You know, just, it's a great collection. I really, you know, made sure to include all the best. You know, Virtua Cop 2, obviously, Virtua Fighter 3TB, Virtua Tennis, and so on. All right, so that is the Dreamcast section. Okay, Naomi is the complete Naomi collection. You got Confidential Mission, you got Extreme Hunting, you got Lupin the Third, Manic Panic Ghost, Ninja Assault. Try Ninja Assault if you haven't yet. It is a great light gun game. A lot of fun. Biohazard, Resident Evil, House of the Dead 2, Maze of Kings, another great light gun game that most people don't know about, and Typing of the Dead. And so, you know, and I include Naomi 2. Not a lot of Pi builds do that, but you do have Naomi 2 here. You got Initial D, you got Soul Surfer, King of Route 66, it's a crazy truck driving game. Virtua Fighter 4, and Evolution, and Final Tuned, Virtua Striker 3, and Wild Riders. That's actually a cool game too. You got the Sharp X6800, Sinclair. You got Neo Geo. You know, in addition, there are a lot of Neo Geo games that are in the MAME section, but this is a strictly Neo Geo section. You know, all your favorites from the Neo Geo. Neo Geo Pocket, Pocket Color, and here we are, the PlayStation section. 954 PlayStation games. I'm not going to quite go through this one as detailed as I did with the Dreamcast because it'd be 3 times as long, but just trust me, if it's worth playing, it's here. You know, the PlayStation had a ton of games, you know, thousands, believe a little, it's over 2,500, probably close to 3,000. But honestly, of those roughly 3,000, only about 900 to 1,000 were worth playing. Those games are on this build. So it's going to be extremely unlikely if you can think of a game that I don't have on here. You know, just everything that's great on the PS1. You know, including the light gun games. Even Jesse James, you got Time Crisis and Time Crisis, let's see, Elemental Gearbolt. Let's head down to Time Crisis. Okay, so I'm just blasting through these, but you can just see, I mean, like, everything is on here. You know, from NFL Blitz to Parappa the Rapper to Point Blank 1, 2, and 3, Project Horned Owl, you know, R-Type, you know, Quake 2, R-Type Delta, Rampage 2, Rampage World Tour. It's on here, okay? Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, definitely, including Resident Evil Director's Cut. You know, Road Rash 3D, Road Rash Jailbreak. You know, like I said, this is a huge collection that I put on here, and pretty much anything you can think of is going to be here. You know, it's a really great section. All the Street Fighter EX. We'll go over here. You know, Tekken 1 through 3. Great port of Tekken for the PlayStation. Tenchu 1 and 2. Test Drive 4, 5, and 6, and Off Road 1, 2, and 3. You know, as you can see, I basically, if the game was good, I included it here. Let's keep going. So, you know, just want to make sure that everybody gets kind of a good general overview of everything, especially playing the games you want to play. Obviously, Time Crisis and obviously Time Crisis Project Titan are on here. Both great games, a lot of fun to play. Tobal 1 and 2, Toka, you know, Tom Clancy games, all the Tomb Raider games that were on PS1, you know, all the Tony Hawk Pro Skaters, you know, they're all on here. Twisted Metal, you know, even Small Brawl, you know, you pretty much, if you can think of it, it's already on here, you know. So, One thing I want to also point out with PlayStation is I have set PlayStation with a speed hack that smooths out the graphics. It actually looks really nice, significantly better than even with standard bilinear filtering, which smooths, more so this bilinear smooths out the edges around 2D graphics. But there's the hack for smoothing on the PlayStation does a great job of smoothing out 3D games. So you'll notice a big difference if you're playing this on a build that doesn't have graphic smoothing. Big difference. All right, so that is PlayStation, almost 2000. All right, PSP 812. I have also included some minis. There are PSP minis in here, all the best ones. There's lots of great PSP mini games, but the PSP section, you're going to have, once again, all the ones that you can think of that you want to play that are great. 300, 50 Cent Bulletproof, Air Combat, great game on the PSP. Going through Armored Core, Armored Core, Army of Two, the BlazBlue titles, people love those. The Bleach, Heat the Soul titles, great graphics. If you love the anime, you'll love these games. Brothers in Arms, Cabela's, Call of Duty. Let's keep going down here. Crisis Core, Dante's Inferno, that's a great game. Dead or Alive, Dissidia, Driver 76, Ducati Challenge, Dungeon Siege. Let's keep going. FIFA, the huge Final Fantasy collection here. Same thing on the PS1, just so you know, all the Final Fantasy games that were released for the PS1 are definitely there. Ghost in the Shell, Ghost Recon, Ghost Rider, God of War Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta. Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars, Liberty City, and Vice City. They're here. Guilty Gear, Hot Shots Golf, Hot Shots Tennis, Iron Man 2. It's just, if it was good, and for the PSP, I put it on here. Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep. The best Lego games on the PSP. You got Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones 2, Star Wars, the original trilogy, and also Clone Wars. You got Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2. Awesome games. Marvel Nemesis, Medal of Honor Heroes and Heroes 2, Metal Gear Peace Walker, and Portable Ops. It's a great collection. MotoGP, a blast to play. The Monster Hunter games, Monster Hunter Freedom, Unite, and Freedom 2, 1 and 2. Mortal Kombat Unchained. Naruto on here. All the sports games, the NBA and NASCAR, NBA Street Showdown, Need for Speed, all the best Need for Speed titles. Also, tons of them multiple Need for Speed titles on the PS1 too. Carbon on the City, awesome game. We'll just keep going here. Phantasy Star Portable, the pinball, the various pinball collections, which are actually really nice. They're fun to play and play really well. Prince of Persia, Pro Evolution Soccer, Ratchet and Clank, Ridge Racer. Let's keep going. Samurai Showdown, the Gundam games, the Shin Megami Tensei games, all of them, a lot of fun. Silent Hill, Shattered Memory, Silent Hill Origins, the SOCOM collection, all the US Navy SEAL SOCOM titles. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, Spider-Man 2 and 3, Friend or Foe, and Web of Shadows. The Star Wars, there's a bunch of really great Star Wars titles that came out. Battlefront 2, Lethal Alliance, Clone Wars, The Force Unleashed, awesome game. Sorry about that. Just going through, the Siphon Filter games were great on the PSP. The Test Drive Unlimited, a lot of fun. Godfather Mob Wars, you can check that one out. It's pretty fun. Lord of the Rings Tactics, Lord of the Rings Aragorn's Quest, The Sims, TMNT, Toka, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Tomb Raider Anniversary, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix is great. So, you know, as you can see, huge collection of great titles on here. WWE, WWF. All right. And so that is PSP. And then I included LCD games. Those are the old LCDs. Under collections, you got a large amount of collections that I have set up. You can also set up your own. Batocera is really good for that. It's extremely easy. I will be making a video that explains how to make your own collections. But I kind of made collections of all the games that I thought most people were looking for, including its own trackball section, which, you know, is MAME, but a lot of people look for the trackball games if you have an arcade cabinet. So, you know, you go through here, you can see all the Golden Tee titles, some of the favorites that people have. They love the bowling games, you know, World Class Bowling and World Class Bowling Deluxe. All right. So 2-player game, 4-player. The total number of games on this build is 60,330. And then here's some additional, you know, Lightgun games, 194 titles. So you got 194 Lightgun games. That will keep you busy. And then I have a few other collections, folders, you know, pinball, platforming, racing, shmups, shooters, sports, strategy here. So that is the build. You know, I do have about 60 background songs on here. I try to keep songs without lyrics, so it's synth songs. They're you know, actually really cool to just kind of leave playing in the background when you're just relaxing at home. You know, you can you know, I have the screensaver set up. It currently is set to pull from screenshots, but you can change it, pull from previews, add your own wallpaper. But, you know, it's pretty nice. You know, you can just have the music playing and have the screensaver running, and it's kind of nice ambiance for your room. And I'll kind of go real quick through the various through some of the songs. You can actually skip music here. So and, you know, you can actually go in and you can add your own music, you know, change it out. If you would like, I can give you, you know, information on how to do it. It's actually very easy. You know, Batocera is fantastic. It plays excellent on the Pi, and this is the build to get if you have a Raspberry Pi. Whether it's an arcade cabinet or a Pi that's plugged into a TV with controllers, if you want to get the most out of your Pi, check out the 2TB Batocera build at Retro Night Gaming. And if you have any questions, I'm always available, so feel free and shoot me a direct message, contact me through the Retro Night Gaming group on Facebook, or send me an email from my site, retronightgaming.com. Thank you for watching. Take care.